Hey there folks, it is your boy, Kuro ESO. How are you? I hope you're having an amazing day today, and just in case you forgot, I just want to remind you that I love you, and I want to thank you for stopping here on my channel. So in case you have been living under a rock as of late, Mid-Year Mayhem has started on all platforms. And this is an event that I really don't know whether to love or hate, honestly, because it does fill up PvP, but it fills PvP with some really strange characters, and it definitely tends to bring out the inner Zergling in a lot of folks too. So, to properly enjoy Mid-Year Mayhem this year, I decided to rebuild my Stam DK, which I have dubbed the Slam DK. You'll figure that out later. You'll figure out why. And this build has been super fun. Taking the concept from my last Stam DK build and turning it on its head and flipping the dial up to 11. Before, it was just okay, kind of satisfying an itch I had to play an old school build, while now it's something completely different and just super enjoyable to play in PvP on. I tried a bunch of different set combos, skill combos, races, potions, food, poisons, etc. Everything you could think of before I finally came to this conclusion and created one of my favorite Stam DK builds to date, and the cherry on top is that it'll actually be even better next patch. He protect, he attack, good lord does he love himself a snack, so buckle yourselves up boys, because I'm bringing Sword and Board Stam DK back. But before we hop into that, I just want to remind you guys that I do stream live over on twitch.tv/KuroESO most days when I am not editing, so if you want to join me live, go drop a follow on that. And if you want to keep up with me, my streams, my builds, etc., you can also hop into my Discord, link below in the chat, to chat with me and the boys. So make sure to do me a favor, beat the absolute shit out of that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future, and make sure to ring that bell so you never miss an upload. And let's go ahead and jump on into the build. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and dive right on in. I'm going to buff up as much as I can. I can't buff up a whole lot because of some things, but we'll talk about that. I have 3,400 weapon damage. This goes up. I don't have my minor brutality buff right now. We have 2,700 health recovery, 1,094 stamina recovery is plenty, don't you worry. 37 and 38, or 37 and 32 physical resistances, those go up quite a bit as well. My tongue is not working. 2,800 critical resist, that's plenty. 31k HP, 31.5k max stam, and 17k max magicka. We do have a little bit higher stats for damage on our 2H bar, but our 2H bar is not our main bar, so do not worry about that too much, but 3,600 weapon damage. So yeah, we also get a little more health recovery on this bar. Don't really know why, but it's a thing. So, with that said, I am a Nord, and I am using the Bewitched Sugar Skull's food and the Steed Mundus. If you want more damage, like I always say, definitely feel free to go with Orc, go with Weapon Damage Mundus, mix and match, find your comfort zone. I think that Nord plus the Steed is the best for the 1vx kind of playstyle that I typically like to play, but the Orc with the Weapon Damage Mundus is definitely very strong. Very strong. And yeah, that is it for the stat sheet. Now let's go ahead and look at the gear that I'm using. You've seen me use it before, and I will use it until they change it. I actually did try to pull away from this. I used some other sets, but I couldn't find any that I liked as much as 7th Legion, and that is because it is just so good. So we've got a Maul here on the two-handed bar. It is Nirnhoned. Go with Sharpened if you haven't already made one Nirnhoned, because we would get more damage from having it sharpened. But other than that, that is exactly what I would want to have here, a weapon damage enchant to give us more burst, and to just kind of passively increase our damage when we do swap to the two-handed bar to reapply dots, because that's what's on the two-handed bar. Two-handed bar is a dot bar, an execute bar, and an ultimate bar. If you don't know what 7th Legion does, it has weapon damage, health recovery, weapon critical, which is a wasted stat on this build, so that's why I don't even bother trying to get it across both bars. And then when you cast an ability that increases your armor, you get 341 weapon damage and health recovery. So we're getting good 500 weapon damage and good 500 health recovery from this. So of course, that is before modifiers. So all in all, this set is pretty loaded. On the Sword and Board bar, I'm using Daedric Trickery. This gives us health, max stamina, max magicka. So pretty nice, helpful bit of stat there. I like it. Very dense, very nice, very thick, very sexy. And when you deal damage, you gain one of 5 random major buffs for 21 seconds every 9 seconds. So that means you can have 3 up at once. The last one will be falling off pretty quick, but you'll have at least 2 up for a very long time. The buffs are Major Expedition for legs, Protection for some tonk, Major Mending and Major Vitality for big boy heals, and Major Heroism for shitting out ultimate like there is no tomorrow. So yeah, Heroism is low-key slept on this. I don't think a lot of people really consider this on this set, or even consider this set. I do know that some people are using it now, but a lot of people haven't really bothered picking it up, and I feel like on StamDK, this is one of the best sets you can run because it does a lot of things for you. It gives you more sustain because of the Heroism. It gives you some movement speed, which StamDK doesn't typically get. It gives you Major Mending and Vitality, which is a lot of healing, and it allows you to drop a skill from your bar, if you wish, which I have done, and it gives you Protection, which is, you know, tankiness. Who doesn't like being tanky, right? So yeah, that's the set that I'm using. It's only active on the Sword and Board bar, but we are on the Sword and Board bar 80% of the time, so this will proc on cooldown, and it will give us a lot of nice, sexy buffs. We'll go over the poison later. I'm using a Blood Spawn with this, of course, so if you don't know what Blood Spawn does, you're living under a rock, but I'll tell you anyway. Gives us a little bit of stamina recovery, not a big deal, it's kind of a wasted stat on this build, but it's nice. And when you take damage, you have a 6% chance of generating 13 extra ultimate and increasing our armor by 37-31. So this, plus Nord, plus Daedric Trickery, makes us get an ultimate every 20 seconds or so, and just absolutely shit them out like there is no tomorrow, like I said. This helps our sustain. Heavy armor passives also help our sustain. And yeah, we sustain through ultimates, through potions, through heavy attacks, through constitution. And this build, even though it has a very, very low buffed up recovery of 1000, it feels like it's got 3000. I promise you, as long as you make sure to weave your heavy attacks. Again, if you feel like your stamina recovery is too low, if you feel like your sustain is low, I'll go over some ways to fix that in a minute. But right now, we're playing with 1000 stamina recovery, and we are not running out of stam. We're an absolute monster. So yeah, 7th Legion Trickery. I did have 2 medium here before, just for a little bit of extra sustain, because of the cost reduction and the stamina recovery buff from medium armor. But I decided that 7 heavy was actually probably the way to go, and it turned out to be correct because it gives us more armor, first of all, so we're a little bit tankier. It gives us even more health recovery. It made us go from 2500 to 2700, which is not a whole lot of a difference, but it's noticeable. And it also increased our Constitution passive, which honestly I think gave me a little more sustain than the stamina recovery. I think I was getting less than 100 stamina recovery from having 2 medium because I had such a low beginner value, but going into 7 heavy actually gave me the equivalent of about another 100 stamina recovery, plus another 100 magical recovery through Constitution. So 7 heavy definitely the way to go, especially for next patch with the changes to the way that armor works. It'll just be most beneficial to be in 7 heavy armor. I have 4 sturdy on the body as well as 1 on the shield. Shield has a stamina enchantment. I forgot to go over the trait here. I do use Nernhoned on my sword to give me more healing, more damage. You could go Sharpened to pump out the most damage, or you could go Powered to pump out the most healing. Both of them are viable. Nernhoned is just kind of a middle-of-the-road choice for both. And this is also Nernhoned. That is it. That, we have 2 Tri-Enchants on the body. You could go with more if you want more health, if you want more magicka as well. I just kind of mixed and matched, and I came up with 2 being the optimal choice for me. However, you will be able to push out more damage if you are willing to drop more health and just go all stamina, which I was doing at first. And it was really good. I wanted a little bit more health. Just a little bit. So yeah, that's what I did. And then for the jewelry, I have 1 7th Legion infused necklace. I have a Bloodthirsty trainee ring, of course, for more health. And the reason I'm using Bloodthirsty is because, let's pretend this is gold for a second, that'd be 300 weapon damage, okay? So we look at this, infused, that's 278 weapon damage. This is 174. At gold, it'd be what, 180? No, it doesn't get affected. The one it's not. Okay, so it's 174. That's about 100 more weapon damage from this, right? So Bloodthirsty is 300 more weapon damage. So at base, this is 200 more weapon damage total than this. This is a dot build, so the lower their health gets, the more damage they take. The dots will tick harder the longer they are on somebody, because their health will go lower, and they will start taking even more damage, and with the way that Venomous Claw works, that'll just make that even more effective. So, to be honest, I'd recommend going with 2 Bloodthirsty. We don't need a whole hell of a lot of base weapon damage on this build because our heals are pretty good without stacking a shit ton of weapon damage, so you'll be able to pump out the most damage to your targets with 2 Bloodthirsty, but Infused is what I had, so Infused is what I used. But yeah, and of course we do have Malakath's Band of Brutality, absolutely a necessity on this kind of a playstyle. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm sorry, people that don't want to use it, but it is good. However, if you do use 2 medium, you would actually, and you double barred your 7th Legion, or at least had the 4-piece bonus across both bars, you would be at about 30% crit on your sword and board bar with this build, and it would still kind of work. So if you don't want to use Malakath Band, this build would still actually work pretty decently for you. You could just sub in like 1 extra trainee or something for some extra mag, I don't know. You could do whatever you wanted to. You could replace the trainee with like a 2-piece agility or something. Again, all up to you. All very much customizable. Mix it up however you want to. But Malakath's Band is very much the GOAT on this build, and I definitely feel like it is required. But if you don't have it, or you don't want to use it, it's you can sub it out. So yeah, that is it for the gear. Let's go ahead and take a look at the skills, starting of course on the sword and board bar. Let's just scoot on over here. Now this is where things get a little crazy, okay? Some people are gonna look at me a little funny after this, but starting off with the Resolving Vigor, you know what this does if you play Stam. It's a heal, you know, you press this button and you heal, so it's nice. Then moving over, we have Flames of Oblivion. Now this is the first one here, but like, what the fuck? Okay, so the reason I'm using Flames of Oblivion, alright, let me buff up. Remember, I am not getting my full weapon damage because I cannot proc my Minor Brutality out of combat. But this does about 7k when we have all of our weapon damage. If you go for a more weapon damage heavy build, by going Orc, or going with the Warrior Stone, or going with both, this thing will easily hit about 8k on the tooltip, and it will do damage every 5 seconds to 2 different people. Now this thing will hit 2 to 3k on somebody when it hits them, and that's not incredible, but what it does is it just adds to our burst and gives us more damage over time. And it can also proc Burning, which is another damage over time effect, and it does it quite consistently, actually, I've noticed. So yeah, this thing hits hard enough to be definitely noticeable, adds to our burst, adds to our pressure, and it hits more than one person, so it's pressuring multiple people at the same time. It also gives us an increased critical chance on our back bar, so if you wanted to do no Malakath, like I said, here on the sword and board bar you do have some extra crit when this is the bar we're on most of the time, so our dots will crit more, our spam will crit more. The only thing we'd be missing out on will be the crit leaps, but we do have to make sacrifices every now and then. And yeah, and I'm sure the damage of this isn't why you'd be looking at me funny, it'd be why you're not using Cauterize. Let me explain why I'm not using Cauterize. 1. The heal from Cauterize is good, but it's not great. It's an expensive ability. It's like, what, 4k? It heals you for like 3 to 4k if you're lucky, and it doesn't really do anything else for the build besides be healing and a mag dump. Now, what I've found is that trying to rely on Cauterize for my heals ends up burning my Magicka bar very quickly because I'm using a few other Magicka abilities, and trying to use them in conjunction with each other and then be spamming Cauterize, I end up just burning through all my Magicka and then running out of that resource entirely, and then I'll need some of it and I won't have it, and I'll die, okay? Now, it may sound like a learn to play issue, but I promise you, it's definitely pretty noticeable. You just don't need it. Like, this build has a lot of healing, because we do have a lot of healing buffs, with Trickery, with our other skill here, I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I promise you really do not need Cauterize, so getting Flames of Oblivion for more burst, more pressure is just I don't know, it's a GOAT move in my opinion. It's very fun. And a lot of other DKs don't use this, and don't really realize just how much pressure this can add. So I'll get into a duel with a DK, and they'll just be getting slapped down, they have no idea what the fuck is going on. So yeah, that's why I use Flames of Oblivion. Then I'm using Fossilize as my stun. Let me explain why I'm doing that. Fossilize is It's a skill that exists. I don't really like Fossilize, okay? But I only had a few choices because I'm using Power Slam. So I can't use Reverb. I feel like Reverb would be the better stun, but can't use it. So what we're doing is we're using Fossilize. This will proc our Minor Brutality, giving us 20% extra, or 10% extra weapon damage for 20 seconds. So as long as you stun one person every 20 seconds, you'll have good uptime. And if you don't stun one person every 20 seconds, that's fine, because you get a lot of extra healing anyway. You don't really need the weapon damage at all times. And when you do stun somebody in your combos, you'll get the damage when you need it. So it's nice. And this goes through block, this goes through dodge roll, and it roots people in place. So it can be very helpful for dealing with Nightblades, for dealing with really tanky people that just want to sit on their block bar and hold LT all day. And it's got about the same range as everything else, which is kind of wacky. I feel like this should have a little bit of a longer range, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that's why I use Fossilize. It's a good skill. It's not amazing, but it's good. If you want to use Shield Charge instead for a gap closer and stun that way, that goes off of your stamina, just so you can have better mag sustain, feel free to, but I feel like Fossilize is overall just the better stun. And then of course I'm using Green Dragon Blood. Now, this was a hard choice for me to make. I dropped Fragmented Shield from my build entirely, which was a big problem at first, because Fragmented Shield gives you your Brutality buff, and it gives you Major Mending. Now, Major Mending we get from our set, right? So I could either have more reliable Major Mending uptime, or I could have this as a burst heal, plus an additional 8% healing from the Minor Vitality that it gives you. So if you happen to get Major Vitality, or Major Mending, or both, and you have this Minor Vitality, that's 40% extra healing total if you get all three of them at the same time, and it's absolutely insane. This is also a nice burst heal, so if you are at low health, you pop this once or twice, and you will typically get out of the danger zone pretty quick, and you don't need Cauterize because of this, pretty much. If you do have both, though, you can tap your Cauterize button, tap your Green Dragon Blood button, and you'll just go to full health pretty quickly. Either way, Green Dragon Blood, definitely good enough to sustain your healing. Also keeps better uptime on your health recovery and stamina recovery buffs, so you don't have to have your potion popped to have those, which is pretty nice in some situations. And yeah, that's about it. That's my reasoning for Green Dragon Blood. Now, Power Slam. This is the main draw of this build for me. Now, without my Minor Brutality, this thing is at 9.8k, just about 10k. And when you block attacks, this goes up by 5% damage, and can stack up to 10 times, so that's 50% extra damage. Let's pretend this is 10k, that'd be 1.5k, right? Or that'd be 15k on the tooltip. That is quite nasty. Hits very, very hard. Like you'll be turtling up. You'll get the proc to 10 stacks pretty much instantly when you're outnumbered, because it has no internal cooldown. So then you'll see someone that has let their health drop to maybe 80% because of the dots that you've been putting on people. And you just slap them with a quick one of these for 7k or so. Swap bars, hit them with the ultimate, and they're done. This thing is very fun to use. It is instant cast, and it is bash weavable. Now, bash weaving will be getting a buff next patch because of the heavy armor changes and some of the CP changes. So bash weaving will definitely not exactly come into the meta, but it'll be even more of a viable option. I'm already bash weaving with this. It's already doing extra damage, and it's very nice, but next patch it'll do even more. Another thing about this is that it's confusing, because no one really uses it, and when you bash weave it, you can't really tell what's going on, so people don't really know what you're doing to do damage to them sometimes. Now let's compare this real quick. Unbuffed, I'm getting 8.4k damage. If I go down to two-handed, Dizzy Swing, 9.8k damage. That's a 1.4k difference. Okay? That is noticeable. 1.4k is a little bit of damage. But like I said, remember, this is instant cast, and it is bash weavable. If you pop your bash after that, that's another 600 to 1,000 extra damage depending on the target that you're hitting. The next patch, that'll be even more. You'll probably be able to get 1.2, 1.3, 1.4k bash weaves next patch. So, the damage is mostly made up for. The other thing about Dizzy Swing is that it applies off balance. That's good. You know, it gives you 10% extra damage to that target with the Exploiter passive. Well, guess what? Exploiter passive is getting binned next patch. It's not going to exist anymore, so that's going to go away entirely. So, next patch, basically, Dizzy Swing is going to be spammable with a clunky cast time that costs 27, another 500 stamina, more than this. That is going to apply a debuff that is literally only good for stunning people once every 14 seconds. So I don't really see a reason to use this thing. Obviously a 2H will hit harder. Off balance is good now. More damage is better. But I feel like this just has more utility and can be used in more ways. So that's why I'm using it. And then of course in my backbar ultimate I'm using Spell Wall. You could also use Corrosive Armor, because this is a bit of a hybrid between a defensive and an offensive ultimate. It makes you take very little damage for a while, as well as making all of your direct damage abilities go through physical resistance. Now, if you bash weave this thing with an 11k tooltip almost, when you're fully buffed up, on someone that you are going through all their physical resistance, they will fucking hurt. And I'm pretty sure this gets buffed by that too, because of the way it scales off of your highest offensive stat. I'm pretty sure that goes through their physical resistance as well, but I cannot confirm that. But yeah, having your spammable go through all physical resistance and be extremely quick, bash weavable, and kind of hard to know what the hell's going on. With Corrosive, this thing, it's very good. Spell Wall I feel like is more reliable, because it's a cheaper ultimate, and it is just a very simple use, and you can reflect snipes and bolts. It's very fun. But yeah, definitely give both a try, see which one you like better. This one is good for dealing with things like 40k HP Wardens, because a couple bash weaves with this thing and they will take a lot more damage than they know what to do with. Front bar. 4 momentum. This is our minor stamina recovery buff, our major weapon damage buff, and that is our snare immunity and removal. This thing makes sure we can move fast as well as hit hard. Very nice skill. Noxious Breath. This is our AoE armored debuff as well as an extra dot and kind of a pseudo spammable, because if we buff this thing up, it does hit kind of hard. 7.5k, of course, again, is without our major brutality, minor, I mean. So that'd be about 8k with it. And if you were on a more heavy damage build, you know, 9, almost 10k probably. So yeah, this is a skill that I would never play without now. Very good. Volatile Armor, you could use either morph of this. The shield morph will make you just a tiny bit more tanky, while this version will give you an extra dot. The dot is not incredible, but it is just an extra 100-200 damage per second, and it can pull Night Blades out of stealth. And having either morph the armor up gives you a damage return mechanic, which will proc your trickery on cooldown even if you do not have any dots on anybody. So that's very helpful. Executioner, you know what this does, it makes people go to sleep. Nothing else to say about that really. And then Venomous Claw, this is our primary dot. This thing hits incredibly hard, at lower health, after a long time of being up. With the Bloodthirsty, with this thing's scaling damage, 20% every 2 seconds, you'll see people take 1.6, 1.8k ticks from this thing, and it hurts really fucking bad. Throw this on a couple of potatoes while you're holding block, wait for him to drop low health, hit him with the Bashy Boy, hit him with the Fossilize if you want to, and then take flight. If you slap him with one of these and they start rolling, hit him with a Fossilize, catch him in the roll, execute him, very nice. And of course take flight. This is the Dragonite ultimate, very fun to use, deletes people, sends them to the afterlife, to the Shadow Realm. We all know what it does. For dueling or group play, I actually kind of prefer Dawnbreaker of Smiting, because the dot from this thing is incredible. It just about doubles the tooltip of Take Flight overall, and applies a lot of pressure. So if there are people that don't really know how to heal themselves, they won't die as fast from the initial hit, but the dot afterwards will definitely catch them. You'll see a lot of people die from Dawnbreaker dots on this build, especially if they're already dotted up with everything else. Promise you, give it a try. Don't knock it before you try it, okay? Trust me. It used to be meta. People used to do it all the time. I don't know why they stopped. Still very good. And yeah, that does it. That does it for the skills. Before we move on to CP, I would like to touch up on my consumables. Now, my poison that I use, it is a double dot, double hot poison. So when this applies, it applies instantly. So when you proc it, it does 2 ticks of damage, as well as giving you 2 ticks of healing. Now the 2 ticks of damage actually plays really well into our burst, because if we do a light attack Power Slam, Bash, Weave. This will proc for another 2,000 damage almost on somebody, and it'll just make us do additional burst with that combo, and it should not be slept on. It also is nice healing. So this, plus all of our healing buffs and our other heals, makes you feel quite sturdy. And then going into food, I'm using Bewitched, like I said. It gives us very good overall stats, but if you feel like you do not have enough Stam Sustain, you can use Artaeum Takeaway Broth, and you will get a lot more stamina recovery. Now, you will lose health, you will lose stamina, so you'll lose a little bit of damage through losing stamina, and just a little bit of bulk through having lower health, but you will lose all of your magicka, and this build is a bit dependent on it. So you'd probably want to go with like all triglyphs on your armor if you do decide to go the Artaeum Takeaway Broth route. If you do feel like your sustain is too low and you don't want to go that way, just replace one of your infused jewelry with a cost reduction enchant. An infused cost reduction is about 300 cost reduce, I believe, per skill. And if you're doing a skill every second, that's 600 saves. That's basically equivalent to 600 stamina recovery. So that would be your best bet for sustain. If you do both, the Artaeum Takeaway Broth and the reduced cost, you will never run out of stamina. Ever. Potions, I like to use Tripots for obvious reasons, very strong. I keep Detect Pots on me. Immovability potions, health, stamina, and immovable to knockback for 10 seconds. This helps you get out burst when you really need to. And then these are my special potion. They give me health, stamina, and then a heal over time for 16.7 seconds. This will obviously be a lot more in practice. You'll be getting about 1.2k heals from this if this is active when you are fully buffed up, and it is just it serves to make you very tanky by giving you that initial 17 seconds of extra healing. The recipe for this is kind of expensive, but it's definitely achievable. Real quick, I actually do want to go over passives as well, because people like to ask about those, and I want to make sure that they are satiated here. So all the class passives, get those. All the two-handed passives, get those bad boys. All the one-handed shield passives, grab those big boys. Alright, grab them boys. 5 heavy armor passives, you want all of them. If you do 2 medium, then you want Dexterity, Windwalker, and Athletics. If you do the 2 medium route. Fighters Guild, Banish the Wicked. If you plan on using Dawnbreaker, grab Slayer, grab Skilled Tracker. Undaunted, you want Undaunted Metal. If you plan on playing in a group, grab Undaunted Command for synergies. Assault, you just want Continuous Attack and Combat Frenzy. Support, Combat Medic. If you want to play with friends, grab Battle Resurrection. Nord, you want everything here. And Alchemy, you want Medicinal Use. I have all of them, or well, most of them, just because I like to be able to craft more potions. But Medicinal Use, very important. And that is it for passives. Let's go over champion points, because I know you guys like champion points. I'm not really going to go too in-depth on this at all, because it's all going to change next patch. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to run through it and let you guys look at it. Pause the video if you need to. This is all subject to change. I mix my CP up once a day, pretty much, but yeah. Definitely give them a look if you aren't super positive on how to put CP in yourself. And there we go, that is the CP. Now lastly, I do know some people, you know, they're always asking, what is your outfit? What is your outfit? Well, for you guys, we're just going to walk on down here, take a look at this outfit station, go over this real quick, and then we're going to watch some clips, alright? So I'm using the Evan Steel Knight helmet. This is new with Mid-Year Mayhem. Evan Steel Knight chest, again new with Mid-Year Mayhem. For the shoulder, I'm using the Silver Dawn Heavy. Matches nice with the fur from the new chest piece, and it symbolizes that I fucking hate werewolves. So I feel like it is a good combo, you know? But I do also think that these look really sexy. I just don't have them. These Knight of the Circle Pauldrons look really good with this. So if you're on Xbox and A and you want to hook your boy up with some Knight of the Circle Pauldrons, my gamer tag is Kuro Sora. Go ahead, just mail them. They're very expensive though, so I can't use them yet. And then hands, I'm using Dragon Guard. Waist, Dragon Guard. Legs, Dragon Guard. Feet, Dragon Guard. Two-handed axe, Bloodspawn. Shield, Bloodspawn. And mace is Dragon Guard. And that is it for that. Colors that I'm using primarily are Daedric Red and Bloodroot Wine. That is my favorite color in the palette. So yeah. that is it for my outfit, that is it for my gear, that is it for my stats, that's my CP, that's everything that you may want to know about the build. So now, if you are satiated and you are done and you want to head out, then by all means you do so. You have a great day, I love you. Mwah. But if you want to hang out and watch me do some PvP, some fighting, you know, some clips, kill some people, talk about killing some people, then by all means, stick around, because I got some clips coming up for you right now. Let's check them out. Alright, so this first clip is a bit of a quick one. It was still in the testing phases, and at this point I'm trying out using Stone Giant, which is actually a pretty alright skill. It hits decently hard, it's just really clunky to use, so if Cinemax can fix it, it'll be pretty good. But while I'm minding my own business, this guy decides to bullwhip me, and I hit the return to sender button, and he deletes himself. Very considerate of him, and yeah, there was nothing he could do. This Lobby decides to jump in with Balls of Steel. I do commend him on that, but he does not quite have the healing power to deal with my dots, so I'm just going to keep my pressure up on him when I'm getting hit by a bomb and a mag DK. Unfortunately for them, I managed to get away using the power of flight to absolutely crush that other kid's skull, and now it is just the bomber and the mag DK. Naturally, I'm going to focus the bomber first because I don't like getting bombed. It's very rude. I don't appreciate it. So we're just going to spam AoEs to try to keep this guy out of stealth long enough to get a leap. Luckily, we do get the leap, and I pop the armor there one last time, catch him with the leap and the execute, break his skull, and send him to the afterlife where he belongs. And now it is just me and the mag DK. Mag DK is blocking, constantly blocking, so it's really fucking my sustain since I sustain off heavy attacks. And it's just being a bit of a general nuisance. And now the guy from the start of the clip jumps in. Luckily, I managed to catch the mag DK with a tricky leap before the guy can really get into the fight. And he doesn't really respond to taking damage well. Hit him with the reverb into the stone fist cancel, into the execute, and that is the end of the first clip. Now the second clip is still in the Stone Fist days, and it's a bit of a long one. I've poked the Hornet's Nest here for a while, and finally they are pissed off and they're coming to fight me. So I'm going to go ahead and debuff this first guy. Don't know what he is yet, hit him with the leap. Doesn't matter what he is because he's dead. And now you can see this Stam Warden here is the most annoying piece of shit I've ever fought in my life. He's got like 3 procs on, he's got Bombard spam, he's got all the fun stuff. Very annoying to fight, but it's okay because he's surrounded by not the best players. Go ahead and get up. It's like these guys are both half health, so I hit the leap, instantly kill that guy, and then finish this one off with a quick execute, and it's just me and this dude for a little bit. Unfortunately, he is the tankiest son of a bitch in the world because he's using Crimson. He's got like 37k HP, and he is a Warden, so that speaks for itself. So I duel back and forth with him for quite a little bit here. A minute and a half or so, when eventually more people do decide to show up and come and fight me. There's a sniper, as well as another Stamden, and I think the Magplar that I killed pretty quickly there comes back as well. He decides he's going to try to res this guy. I don't allow that because that is very rude. He is trying to rest. Do not interrupt him, you douchebag. Now, I don't know which guy I'm going to hit here first, because there's 2 Stamdens. You know, Stamdens are Stamdens, they are tanky, so I haven't really decided on full sending on either one of them. I'm like, dude, please stop resing, but at this point I'm like, fuck it, this guy he's got 100 CP, I'll just kill him again. So he does get back up, I have the leap, go ahead and put him right back down, easy peasy. Now the 300, well I guess 400 CP Magplar is back in the fight. Poison proc absolutely just rips his face off, and he is dead, and again it is just me and the Stamdens plus a sniper. So I'm going to save up a sword and board ult here to pressure the sniper. Go ahead and make sure I reflect any projectiles he sends my way while keeping me safe from a lot of the stuff going on behind me. Pop a few AoEs to finish him off with the reverb there and the execute. He takes his nap the way he is supposed to. He is sleeping very nice and soundly. Now it is just me and the 2 Stamdens. I don't kill either of these Stamdens here, unfortunately. I do get pretty close to killing the first Stamden because he's a good bit squishier than the... Did I say first? I meant the second one. The one that just jumped into the fight recently. I almost kill him, because he's a good bit squishier than the first guy. But too many people show up before I'm actually able to secure the kill. So we'll just watch me duel these guys for a little bit until I start getting javelined. Now I'm getting beamed while also taking procs. Very, very, very unfortunate. Almost die there. Luckily, I do have a little bit of legs in this build, so I move pretty quick. Just kidding, actually, that was pretty slow. Anyway, I'm getting beamed, I'm getting ulted, I'm getting dumped, like everything is coming on me right now, like I'm just being covered in AIDS, just getting absolutely obliterated, not very fun. So I pop the sword and board ult and just try to reposition to a place with better line of sight. Luckily for me, there's a place with a really solid line of sight right over here. It looks like a nice crest of two. I guess it's like a woman's chest, you know? It's like there's two large boobs. There's one on the left side, one on the right side, and I just snuggle on right in between them. Very nice pot. I almost killed this guy, but I'm taking too much pressure and I don't have enough stam to really commit to the kill, so I just kind of walk back up the chasm here and just kind of try to keep as much pressure off me as possible. Hit this guy from a distance with the stone fist, and he runs away. Now I am rooted by the guy with the bombard, the most annoying son of a bitch in the world. I hate when they do that. Bombard is annoying, procs are annoying, stamina is annoying. He is just ticking all the boxes to be my most hated player ever. Try to leap that guy, but it decides to leap the guy I'm not looking at. Unfortunate, don't get to secure that kill quite yet, but I will soon enough, I promise you. Just keep unkiting up and down this little chasm here to get as much heat off me as possible. This guy is not healing himself. Go ahead and hit him with the leap and break his skull right there. There we go. Easy peasy, nothing to it. He is extra dead. Now it is just me, the Stamden, and the 810 Magplar, who I feel like is even less of a threat than the 300 or whatever Magplar. Almost get him here, but he did have a resto ult hanging out in his back pocket that he decided to pull out at the last second just to show it to me. He was like, hey, check this out. It's pretty cool. What do you think? And I was like, I hate it. So I decided to kite up the hill because I don't want anyone else to just be able to look, you know, just kind of slightly turn their head and be like, oh, look, someone's fighting. So now we're up here, so that way we're just a little bit out of sight, so people don't see me as well. It's a lot less likely for someone to hop into the fight. And no one does, so it's just me and these two pressuring this guy from a distance. Go ahead and come in here with the breath and the leap. He takes it right to the dome with the execute and takes a nap. Now this is 7.5 times speed. This fight went on for ages because this dude is just a meta cancer Stamden. And it was really annoying. It was not fun to fight. It was not fun to watch. There was nothing fun about this. It was annoying. It was irritating. And it made me want to shoot myself. But in the end, I do kill him. I actually switch my food from Sugar Skulls to Artaeum Takeaway Broth here just to get some extra recovery, because all he's doing is blocking everything. So I can't really sustain. And not too long after I swap to a different food, I do catch him here with the damage. Hit him with a quick poop rock into the stun, into the execute, and he takes a nap. And that is the end of the second clip. Alright, third clip. This is when I first decided to try out Power Slam, and I fell in love with it. This fight was actually going on for quite a while before this. I think I killed 3 or 4 more people, but I wasn't streaming at this point, so I can only get what I could get with the Xbox's record feature. Right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and take this Magplar out of the game. He doesn't belong here. He is an inferior Magplar, and you know how I feel about inferior Magplars. Another Magplar decides he's going to try to res. My bad, I apologize. That she is going to res. I don't like that. It's very rude, very inconsiderate of her, but it is what it is. Almost killed the Sorcerer. Unfortunately, they have a pretty good grasp on how to dodge roll. They watched How to Dodge Roll 101. Unfortunately, they didn't finish the video, so they didn't learn that dodge rolling until you're fully healed is the most effective way to do it, and they die. Now, I tried to stop this res right here, and I'm about a half a second too late, which is really unfortunate, because the Magplar does get back up and rejoins the fight. And yeah, as you can see, telltale sign of there being an inferior Magplar around, getting beamed at full health. That is the #1 way to tell. Now, as you can see, we've got some people deciding to break off from the fight because they realize it's not the best idea. We've got a person watching over there. The healer decided they aren't going to bother. They're just going to stand there and watch too. And one of the guys just left. So it's just me and the Magplar for a little bit here until a gank Magblade decides to show up. And this dude's trying to warn him. He's like, bro, you don't want to catch this smoke, but he wants all the smoke, so he about to get it. I almost get absolutely insta-gibbed right here. Luckily for me, this guy decides to get too hype on damage, doesn't heal himself from my dots, hit him with a quick leap and the execute. Execute decides not to animate there, but it does come out and he does die. It does what it's supposed to, even if it doesn't look like it did. Now it is me and the sniper that is around here somewhere, as well as the Magblade ganker. The sniper decides to come out of stealth first, so he is the first one to catch all of that damage. I catch him with the dots, hit him with the leap, he blocks it, and that's unfortunate, but it's okay, because I hit him with the fossilize, he tries to roll away, doesn't really work for him, catches the execute right to the top of his noggin, and yeah, he's just sent to the afterlife. Now, I almost killed this guy as he's being rezzed, but the fossilize doesn't work when I press the button, so he does manage to heal back up. So I've got the Magplar back here at full health, as well as the Magblade with the Calurians. So I'm in a little bit of danger. If I get caught by the Calurian's gank and then a beam from this guy, I will be in a bit of a tight spot. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on this guy. He pops out of stealth, catch him with the leap into the executes, and he is no more. He is not a part of this world anymore. Unfortunately, like, a few more people show up. What is this, 4 more people? The one guy earlier is still trying to get people to stop doing this because he knows, guys, you don't want it. You don't want to do it, just leave. They don't listen though, they're all stupid. Almost killed the Magplar again. Unfortunately, he does heal himself, and this guy decides he's going to go for the res. Not a good idea, and he catches all the dots, doesn't respond very well, doesn't put armor up, doesn't heal himself, doesn't do anything, so I catch him with the stun, catch him with the executes, and he joins his friends in Sovngarde. Now, I'm out of stam here, quite unfortunate, but it's okay. I've got a pot, I've got a sword mortal, I am back up to almost full resources, and I am able to do my damage again. Go ahead and put the dots on the Magplar. He doesn't purify it off, which is always a good thing, but then I realized that this guy doesn't seem to have much of a working brain, so I go ahead and stun him and apply my dots to him. He does almost get away, but it's not going to work out for him. Hit him with some damage here, into a stun, into a leap, into an execute. Nice wombo combo, sends him to the Shadow Realm, and it is just me and the Magplar. Now this does go on for just a little bit here, because it is a Magplar, and I am a dot build. I won't lie and say I'm not a dot build, it is what it is. That's why I like Flames of Oblivion. I don't have Flames of Oblivion here yet. It would have been really nice to have for this fight, just for a little bit of additional burst. So, we put the dots on this guy, keep the dots up, just try to pressure him, make sure he's constantly having to heal, constantly having to waste more magicka, getting out of danger, getting rid of the dots. He's not really good at purifying himself, I'll be honest, which is a good thing for me, because if he was good at purifying himself, I'd be doing a lot less damage. But he is okay at getting out of CC at the very last second and healing himself, which seems to be a pretty common Templar trait, I'll be honest. He blocks my leap right there. Makes me sad. I did cry a single tear, but you know, it happens. Sometimes our leaps get blocked. You know, we have to just learn to live with that. Now there is another mag blade here, and that's annoying, but it's okay. I'm just going to continue to focus on this guy because I don't want him here anymore. He has royally annoyed me by being lucky and just getting out of the CCs right before I can get that final execute in. He hasn't healed himself up fully yet. Hit him with the leap. Go ahead and break a skull. He's done for, and now it is just me and this mag blade who is heavy attacking me from stealth. Not really sure what he's doing. Pull him out of stealth with the armor. Pop him with the breath, hit him with a stun, another breath, and an execute, and he joins his friends in heaven. And that is the end of the third clip. And that brings us to the fourth and final clip. Now, as you can see, there's a pretty massive group here, and I decided that I'm just going to try to pester them in the rear while they are being bullied by blues. This Magplar does not respond very well to taking damage. He is doing nothing but spamming Breath of Life, and that's not going to save him. It is not quite enough. As you can see, I do have my Flames of Oblivion. I've got all the moving parts that build together now, and he is no match for it. He is no match for the StamDK, baby. So he's dead. This guy's going to go in for the hero res. Doesn't work out for him. Catches the bash, the dots, the leap, and he's dead. This guy, I don't know what exactly this is supposed to be. It's some kind of PvE looking build, but it doesn't do much good for him, and he takes a nap along with the rest of his friends. And the rest, some more, not the rest of the group, but some more of the group turns around. They're like, hey, our boys are dying. Send him some backup. Well, I back up, get some space there, get some resources back, leap back in, break this guy's neck right here, put him down. And yeah, it's just a couple of guys left here. This dude is back up, and he is rezzing. He's getting them Templar reses in. I don't allow that. Several more people decide to turn around and start hitting me. I don't really like that, so I'm going to run back here to my little safety space. This dude gets too hype on the offense, catches the leap, gets his neck broken again. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with that too many more times, unfortunately for him. See this guy at half health, so I'm going to go ahead and pressure him. Try to get the dots on him, but nothing's really working. But I hit him with the stun, I hit him with the bash, and then I hit him with the executes. He gets up and just kind of stands there. I guess he's just accepted his fate at this point, and he knows that it's not really worth trying to stay alive at this point. It's a miserable life he's living, and he just wants it all to end anyway, so he allows me to kill him. This guy isn't going to die here because he's a Magden, and he's got the one button save me build kind of thing going on. Which is big sad, but it's not too big of a deal. We're going to go ahead and kite here until the rest of that group loses interest and they go into the breach. And as you can see, lots of the guys that I just killed have been rezzed, and it's quite depressing. I hate when people undo the work that I've done, but it is something that I've learned to get used to. So now I'm going to kind of kite back here to make sure that the whole group doesn't see me and be like, hey, look, here's a dude, let's go. That's not cool. It's not very polite. It's very inconsiderate of them. So Luckily, the rest of the group decides they don't want any more smoke. Alright, the Magplar that died a couple times already, he's out of here. The other people, they're done. So it's just me, this sniper, who isn't really doing too much damage, as well as the Magden from earlier, and the Stam DK that, well, I guess I haven't actually fought this guy yet. He's not doing much damage though. I got Stam DK dots and like 2k dizzy swings. Not a big deal. Not much of a threat. I do have a mag blade help me out right now, so it's, you know, I got the advantage. Go ahead and hit him with the leap. Hit him with the executes. He doesn't heal himself fast enough, and he goes ahead and takes a nap. And now it's just me, the mag blade that's helping me out, and this dude, and this guy can't stay alive. He can't do it. He can't hack it. And it's over for him, and that is also over for the video. That was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out. Remember to like the video. Subscribe if you want more. And have a great day. Love you.